I think the crock pot is a great way to cook dried beans because it really simplifies the process. All you have to do is add the beans to the crock pot and let the crock pot do its job. This process will work with any type of dried beans, but today we are working with 3 cups of dried pinto beans. The first thing we want to do is sort the beans well. Basically, all you want to do is pull out any beans that look dry or discolored. So here's what I'm talking about. Remove anything that looks shriveled and discolored. So this guy right here has got to go. And I'll go ahead and grab a decent one here so you can compare. You can see the bean on the right is shriveled up and looks really dry. After the beans are sorted, the next step is to just cover the beans with water and soak overnight. You want to soak your beans between 8 to 12 hours. Anything over 12 hours is too much. The beans will get waterlogged. Your water should look like this. It should be cloudy. Now the water is cloudy because it contains all of the excess starches, and you want to go ahead and rinse that off. So that's going to be our next step here. And this is really the key to making good beans. Beans are notorious for making people feel bloated and gassy after eating them. So the way to get around that is to really just rinse and soak as much as you can to get rid of all the excess starches. It's really going to make your beans a lot more digestible, so rinse well. So after a good long rinse, you want to go ahead and get your crock pot out, get it plugged in, and just pour the beans right on into the crock pot. Next thing you want to do is cover the beans with water. For this batch, it took about 8 cups of water to cover the beans in this crock pot. So go ahead and turn your crock pot on high and let it go for 6 hours. So this is what your beans should look like after 6 hours. Water is simmering, cooking liquid is a dark brown, beans are completely submerged. So what I like to do to test to see if they're done is I take a slotted spoon like this and I try to smash the beans up against the side of the crock pot just a little bit to test their texture. So what you're looking for is soft but firm. So the beans should break apart a little bit. It's letting you know that they are completely cooked. They are no longer hard and dry. Okay, so the beans are done cooking. So what I like to do next is grab a slotted spoon and just start transferring the beans to another container. So you can see here, I'm pulling the beans out. I'm letting the cooking liquid kind of drip off a little bit first, and I'm just moving them to a different container. So one thing to point out is the cooking liquid is similar to the soaking liquid. It contains all the enzyme inhibitors and excess starches and sugars. So rinsing all of that off is the way to go. So you can see here I'm giving my beans one final rinse. So after this final rinse, these beans are done. Basically, they are just the same as beans that would come out of a can. From this point, you can add them to soups or salads, or turn them into bean dip, or make them into refried beans, or however it is that you like to use beans. Add them to chili, whatever it is you like. So I always give them a final rinse, and then after that, I put them in a bowl, cover them with plastic wrap, and keep them in the fridge. So there it is.